Hello and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful stories in the Bible. A story about courage, timing, and how sometimes God positions you long before you even realize why. It's about a young woman who went from being an orphan to a queen, and from being silent to saving an entire nation. This is the story of Esther, the hidden queen. It started with a kingdom that stretched across 127 provinces from India all the way to Ethiopia. King Xerxes ruled it all. He was powerful, proud, and he loved to show it. One day he threw a grand feast that lasted 180 days. Gold cups, marble pillars, endless wine. He wanted everyone to see how great he was, but then pride met defiance. He called for his queen, Vashti, the most beautiful woman in the land, to appear before his drunken guests so they could admire her beauty. She refused, and in that moment, everything shifted. Her courage was seen as rebellion. The king, humiliated in front of everyone, stripped her of her crown. The message was clear: no woman defies the king. After Vashti was gone, silence filled the palace halls. But soon, the king's advisors whispered, "Let's find you a new queen, the most beautiful in all the empire." So, from every corner of Persia, young women were taken to the citadel of Susa, prepared, polished, and trained for months to stand before the king. Among them was a girl named Esther, an orphan, raised by her cousin Mordecai. She was Jewish, but no one knew. Mordecai told her, "Don't reveal your people or your background." You see, sometimes God hides your identity, not to deny who you are, but to protect the purpose he's still preparing. Esther didn't come from royalty. She had no title, no power, no name known in the palace, but she had grace, and something about her presence captured hearts wherever she went. When her turn came to meet the king, she asked for nothing more than what was given to her. And when Xerxes saw her, he loved her more than all the others. He placed the royal crown on her head and declared her queen, just like that. A forgotten orphan became the queen of the most powerful empire on earth. But even then, her real purpose was still hidden. One day, Mordecai, who often sat near the palace gates, overheard two guards plotting to kill the king. He told Esther, and Esther warned the king, giving Mordecai the credit. The plot was stopped and the act was written down in the royal record. But no one thanked Mordecai, not yet. Sometimes your good deeds go unnoticed, but God keeps the record. Then came Haman, the king's highest official, arrogant, cruel, power-hungry. When he walked through the gates, everyone bowed except Mordecai. That one act of defiance burned in Haman's pride. He wasn't content to punish one man. He wanted to destroy all of Mordecai's people, the Jews. So he manipulated the king. With smooth words and lies, he convinced Xerxes to sign a decree to annihilate an entire people. The date was set. Letters were sent across the empire. Imagine the fear that spread, knowing death had been scheduled by law. When Mordecai heard the news, he tore his clothes, covered himself in ashes, and stood outside the palace crying. Esther heard and sent word asking what was wrong. He told her everything, the decree, the plan, the danger. And then he said something that would change everything. "Do not think that because you are in the palace, you alone will escape. If you remain silent at this time, deliverance will come from somewhere else. But who knows if you were made queen for such a time as this?" Those words hit her heart. She was afraid she hadn't been called to see the king in 30 days, and in Persia, to go before the king uninvited meant death unless he extended his golden scepter. But after praying and fasting, she made her choice. She said, "Go, gather all the Jews, fast for me. I will go to the king, even though it's against the law, and if I perish, I perish." That's courage, not the absence of fear, but obedience in the face of it. Esther dressed in her royal robes and stood in the inner court, waiting, trembling. The king looked up, and he smiled. He extended his golden scepter. Her life was spared. "What is it, Queen Esther?" he asked. "Even if it's half my kingdom, it shall be given to you." But Esther didn't rush. She invited the king and Haman to a private banquet, not once, but twice. She waited for the perfect moment, the one God would orchestrate himself. That night, the king couldn't sleep. He asked for the royal records to be read to him, and the story of Mordecai saving his life was brought up. The king asked, "What honor has been given to this man?" "Nothing," they replied. At that exact moment, Haman entered, planning to ask permission to hang Mordecai. But before he could speak, the king asked, "What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?" Thinking the king meant him, Haman said, "Let him be dressed in royal robes, placed on the king's horse, and led through the city with a crown." The king smiled and said, "Go quickly and do all this for Mordecai." Imagine his face. The very man he wanted dead, he now had to celebrate. When God flips the script, no enemy can undo it. At the second banquet, Esther finally spoke. She looked at the king and said, "If I have found favor in your sight, spare my life and the life of my people, for we have been sold to destruction." The king's eyes widened. "Who is he?" he demanded. Esther turned and said, "The adversary is Haman." The room fell silent. The man who planned to destroy her people was now destroyed by his own plan. Haman was executed on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. Soon after, the king issued a new decree, allowing the Jews to defend themselves. And on the day their enemies hoped to conquer them, the opposite happened. The Jews triumphed. Esther remained in the palace, no longer hidden, no longer silent. Her courage saved a nation. And maybe that's the lesson for you. Sometimes you're placed where you don't understand why. You feel unseen, unqualified, out of place, but maybe you've been positioned for purpose. Maybe God has hidden you, not to hold you back, but to prepare you for the moment when your voice will save more than just yourself. Because like Esther, your story might just be bigger than you think. If this story spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe, not just to follow the channel, but to keep walking this journey of purpose, courage, and faith together. Because the next story might be the one that lights a spark in you.